Good afternoon, folks. Chief Meteorologist Nick Liliga here with a look at your tropical update for August 1st of 2019, brought to you by the good folks at Pine Belt Gutters. Things are heating up a little bit, I suppose, into the tropics, but for the most part, hopefully it won't ever be bothering us back around here. Now, this time of the year, yeah, we got to look a little further out into the open Caribbean, actually out into the open Atlantic as well. Still looking close to home, still looking into the Gulf of Mexico. However, you can see kind of the bullseye that's out here from basically the central and western Caribbean, just off to the east of the greater and lesser Antilles. Now, of course, as we get into September, then we start looking even further out. The reason, well, your water temperatures are warming up into the mid to upper 80s into the Gulf of Mexico, mid to upper 80s out into the open Atlantic. Same goes down to the Caribbean. We don't get down into the low 80s until we get out just near the coast of Africa. Now, right now into the Gulf of Mexico, yeah, there's a swirl in here, but this swirl is actually a mid and upper level low. We want the, well, we don't want, but what we don't want is low level lows because those are the ones that we usually have to worry about with tropical development. I suppose what we do want is the mid and upper level stuff because nothing's going to happen with these in terms of hurricanes and tropical storms. I know this tends to look pretty robust over here, but actually all this thunderstorm activity is associated with what's left of Invest 95L. More on that in a hot second. Into the Caribbean, not much going on. There's been a ton of thunderstorm activity along the northern coast of South America the last couple of weeks associated with a little area of low pressure that was hanging out. That's done for. We're done with that. However, I will say now that we're done with it, we can warm up the waters there, which isn't necessarily a great thing. But as of right now, there's really nothing doing. Okay, back to what's left of Invest 95L. The National Hurricane Center is still highlighting it and still giving kind of an area where they see there may be something, but 0% chance, area near zero is what they say, percent chance that we see any kind of development with that. Now all eyes turn to Invest 96L. Which is out here in the open Atlantic. It looks real ugly for today, but the next 2 to 5 days, a 20 to 70% chance that we see development out here. As this gets closer and closer to the greater and lesser Antilles, you're probably looking at this going, Nick, really? This is what they're highlighting for a high chance of development? And yeah, no, it looks pretty ugly out here. It looked pretty good yesterday, but today its a friend back off to the west actually tends to look a little bit better and more robust. And you have a very wide area of circulation, a very broad area, but there's really not much happening with it right now. It's really the wave back in behind it that's a little more robust. And then there's more waves back in behind that as we go on to the African continent. Over on the other side of the world, out toward Hawaii, we've got Hurricane Eric, which is going to bring some showers and probably rumbles of thunder to the Big Island out here in Hawaii. Right now, wind at 85, gusting to 105, well down from where it was. I think at its peak, 115 or 120 mile an hour wind. Flossie, which never really got its act together. The original idea, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days ago, was that Eric was going to be the regular hurricane. Flossie was going to be the major hurricane. Well, it turned out that Eric was the major hurricane, and well, Flossie never really ended up being a hurricane at all. 65 mile an hour wind, gusting to 75. 1,500 miles off the west-southwest tip of the Baja of California. And this one's actually making more of a push toward the Hawaiian Islands. You can see kind of at the tail end here. But it is going to curve off to the north, and the idea is that Eric's going to go by to the south, Flossie's going to go by to the north, and the Hawaiian Islands are sitting kind of right in the middle and reasonably lucky. Okay, back over here to 96L. Real quick, I wanted to point out something because you're going to start to see spaghettis showing up over the next couple of days, these models that flood social media. And before you get too excited about where they are, where they're going, and what they're doing, here's the problem. You see where each one of these lines starts? Each one of these lines is trying to figure out where the center of Invest 96L is right now, and none of them are right. Absolutely none of them are right. And you can imagine if none of them are right to begin with, well, how are they right later? Right? If you can't get the 0 point correct, how are you supposed to get 1, 2, 5, 10 days down the road right? So you're probably going to see stuff like this over the next couple of days, but just know until this thing wraps itself up or looks a little more organized, because, I mean, we got one that's starting here and another one that's starting there. You're going to see stuff, and unfortunately, they're just not very good at figuring out where it's going to go if they don't even know where it is right now. A 700 millibar moisture, 850 vorticity map. Here's 96L right here, and it's taking it closer and closer to the Greater and Lesser Antilles, so it doesn't really do much with it. It's actually the wave that's back in behind it that looks a little bit better organized. Both of these end up near Puerto Rico and the Greater and Lesser Antilles as we head through the end of next week, and they're going to be guided by a big ridge of high pressure that's off to the north. Now beyond this, so we just don't know where these are going to go. Are they going to recurve to the north? They're going to end up toward the Gulf of Mexico. Right now the idea is they'll wrap around this big ridge of high pressure, but it's something worth watching as we head through the next couple of days. So there's your tropical update for August 1st of 2019, brought to you by the good folks at Pine Belt Gutters. Thank goodness all the action that we do have out there, at the very least, is over and out across parts of the open Atlantic and away from us, giving us plenty of time to keep tabs on things and make sure that we can alert you guys if anything changes.